Hi, today we're going to talk about two objects within the .NET framework and C Sharp. They appear in a lot of languages, but this is the language we're studying. It's the Enums and DateTime. You've been exposed to both of these already. You just may not have noticed it. So we're going to go over what Enums is, how to access them. We're going to talk a little about DateTime. We're going to look at some of the properties and functions, and wrap it all up. So what is an enum? Enum is a keyword that represents a value type for declaring a set of known constants. It's used when you need to constrain integers to a finite and specific values. So this is how you declare an enum. Uh, we're taking this from an example straight from Microsoft in the DateTime object. It's called Day of the Week. Uh, It has a list of variables: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and each one is explicitly assigned a value. Now, if they did not explicitly assign these values, Sunday would be 0, Monday would still be 1, and Tuesday would still be 2, and so on. But for clarity, they explicitly assign the values. So why do we use enums? Well, you need to use them to control values of variables. You can control it by preventing invalid values. For instance, uh, you want to codify a set of colors, uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but you use an int or an integer. That means somebody could put in 10, 30, or 20. These are invalid colors for the range you want. Uh, and it makes your code it makes the code more readable and more maintainable. So days of the week equals days of the week, and the variable name is days, and you're setting it to days of the week dot Monday. So now days is equal to days of the week dot Monday. So there is an enum uh, item object you can use. It's some static objects. We talked about static objects with strings. The ones that you will mostly use is get name. So you have to pass it a type. Which means you have to get the type. In this case, we're using the enum day of week, and we get the day of week type, and then we pass it our value. In this case, it's days. So now the string my day is now set to Monday. So here's why you would use some selection lists. So many of the drop downs you'll see are powered by enumerations. Arrays, a lot of the variables in arrays are set by enumerations. Dictionary, a dictionary is a key value pair, which means it has a key and a value. An array and an enumeration is great for setting the keys because enums are unique. Uh, you can control state and set state. We'll talk about state later. You could be used in security and conditionals, which we have a very long block coming up, 3 classes on conditionals because they're so important. So let's talk about date time. This is probably something you guys right now should pay real close attention to. So it's used to access the computer's date and time. It has a minimal value and a maximal value, as you see on the screen. It has many properties and functions. This is how you would instantiate a date time from scratch. Notice it's year, month, day. You can get down to the milliseconds because the function is overloaded. So here's some properties and functions of DateTime. So DateTime.now is an instance of DateTime that is created for you within the construct, and it is based on the current system, date, time. There's days and month. You pass the year and a month as integers, and it tells you how many days are in that month. You can get the min value and the max value to make sure your items are not outside of a range. UTC now is what time it is right now in Greenwich, England. Today, I don't use today much. From what I've seen so far, today is very similar to now. Uh, and datetime dot is leap year. Give it a year, and it's going to tell you if it's a leap year or not. Datetime.now, like I said, is an instance of datetime based on a computer's current datetime settings. You can add milliseconds, seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, and years. You can find the day of the week. You can find the day of the year. And you can determine if we are in daylight savings time. There's a lot more functions that go along with datetime.now. I encourage you to explore them and look at them and see how you can use them. As you see, because I went forward too fast, there is an assignment that goes along with this, because honestly, the only way you're going to learn how to use date time is if you start working with it and start playing with it yourself. And this assignment is set up so that you will need to create some date time structures and do some date time math on your own so that you can practice creating code on your own. And that's the end of my presentation. I hope you guys have a good day at school.